My dream is to become a world-renowned pirate. Ace, my dream is to become a free pirate. SaboLuffy, what about you? What is your dream? My dream is to become the One Piece King, then hold a grand banquet that everyone can attend. And, what about you? The three of them looked at each other, sitting next to them listening to their dreams, a girl smiling gently. My dream. The girl said gently, I want to change this twisted world so that everyone can live happily. This is a warm story. Chapter 1. The Daughter of the Sea. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Chapter 1. The Daughter of the Sea. Blue Star. A city village in a certain city. In the tidy room, a female figure quickly put on her clothes. In areas where clothes cannot cover up in time, the entire flame scar can be seen. Dressed up, and walked slowly out of the room, about to turn around and leave. Number 34, squeak. Number 34, the old door of the neighboring room slowly opened, and a woman around 30 years old walked out from behind the door. Auntie made dumplings today. Do you want to come over and have some? No need, Aunt Wang, please. A crisp voice with a gentle refusal came from the mouth. Looking at the girl's departing figure, Aunt Wang let out a soft sigh. Villages in cities. Crossroads. A ferocious truck was parked on the roadside, and a phone call could be heard inside the driver's cabin. Husband, when will you be back? Today is my daughter's birthday. Wife, I'll be back soon. Wait for me to finish this ticket. Send the son of the sea to his mother, and take the bonus to buy Gaga delicious food for his daughter. Alright, let's not talk anymore. The person has appeared, and after seeing me off, I'll go back. Hang up the phone. The driver took out a photo and looked at it. After confirming its accuracy, he shouted loudly, let's go. Son of the sea. Leaving the residential building, and was thinking about what to eat tonight. Suddenly, my eyes lit up and a roar rang out, slowly losing consciousness. One Piece world in the year 1511 of the Haiyuan calendar. A certain sea area in the East China Sea. The sky is cloudless, the sea is calm, and fish are freely swimming in the sea. Suddenly, the originally clear sky suddenly turned black, and a petite figure fell from the clouds, then the sky returned to clear. Pop it. A girl, about 11 years old, with long golden wavy hair, wearing a wide white nightgown, and slight freckles on her cheeks, slowly sank into the sea. The originally leisurely fish swam towards the bottom of the sea, supporting the girl's body and swimming towards the distant island. I don't know how long it has been, cough cough. Cough cough cough. A fierce cough sounded, and the little girl slowly opened her sapphire-like eyes and looked into the sky. After a short while, and used all his remaining strength to climb up from the scorching beach. Pat the sand on your body. White and tender hands appeared before my eyes as I waved. Ah! A pleasant cry echoed through the island, and the birds scattered and fled. By the blue sea, I looked at my reflection and touched my tender and smooth skin. So white. So soft. Stepping out of the surprise, and began to ponder where this was and why I had become smaller. I touched my chest. Damn it, even this place has shrunk, my 36. Ah! While An was feeling angry, a mechanical sound suddenly rang out in his mind. Ding, detected that the host has awakened, the strongest pirate system is binding, binding failed. Binding failed. The host does not meet the original conditions. According to the binding failure manual of the Zhutian Wanjie system, the system energy is now consumed to reorganize the system to adapt to the host. At this moment, in an unknown space, a driver is working hard to move bricks. The system retrieves the host's memory. An felt a burst of pain in her brain, but it quickly returned to normal. The system searches for the world history of One Piece. Retrieval completed. The binding system has been generated. Ding. It has been discovered that the host is currently too weak, and the system will consume energy to create a demon fruit with no side effects for the host. Energy consumption. In world extraction. Extract to the wasteland world. Connect in the world of chaos. Unicom successful. Extract from the Phoenix bloodline. Extracting. Extracting. At this moment, in the vast world, a black shadow is fleeing everywhere. Looking at the light blue screen in front of her, and couldn't help but pray, don't have any trouble. How can I live without you? System Master. It seems that I heard An's call and the words on the screen changed. Blood vein extraction successful, devil fruit making. The devil's fruit has been successfully made. The devil fruit has been placed in the system space. Warning. Warning. The system energy is about to run out, and it will forcibly switch to passive operation mode after 5 seconds. Passive mode. Turn off the system's subjective consciousness. Host, I wish you a pleasant journey. What the hell is going on? Looking at the content displayed on the screen, An rubbed her forehead. She still had many questions to ask, but the system ended up killing her. Forget it, at least the newbie reward is given out. However, after some rough operation in the system, at least I understand that I have traveled through time, and I have also traveled to the world of the One Piece. Although in another world, An rarely looked at One Piece, it didn't prevent a certain website from recommending it to her. She also knew that One Piece world is a world where strength is paramount, and fists are the truth. This world is mainly focused on killing. Forget it, this is all fate. Anyway, there is nothing in my own world that I can cherish. Since I had a car accident with my father who prioritized boys over girls, I managed to survive. But the body and face were severely burned. From then on, except for occasional contact with Aunt Wong, most of the time I spent alone. Loneliness has long been commonplace. Nowadays, with a young and intact body and system support, one can live a life of rebirth and earn money no matter what. As long as one does not die, they can completely live the life they want. Thinking of this, An stopped and slowly squatted on the beach, resting his head on his knee. Looking at the shimmering sea, recalling my past, whispering softly. What kind of life do I want to spend? I don't know how long it has been. Goo. An's stomach made a cry. I'm so hungry. Looking around the island, I didn't find anything to eat. By the way, the demon fruit the system gave me has not been eaten yet. I don't know if this fruit can fill my stomach. After reciting, An summons out the system space. The system space is a square space of approximately 50 cubic meters, which can store and retrieve items at any time. There is a red fruit flowing with a red flame in the middle of the system space. How beautiful! Anzan sighed. With a thought, an oval-shaped fruit carved with several phoenix shadows and flames of different colors appeared in An's hand. Animal demon fruit, phantom species, phoenix fruit, note. The demonic fruit that does not exist in this world is made by an unknown entity using inexplicable methods to obtain blood from various phoenixes and phoenixes in the wasteland world. This unspeakable method. Anyway, let's fill our stomachs first. Taking a bite, an indescribable strange smell filled An's entire mouth, making him extremely nauseous. Nausea. It's really unpleasant. However, in order to gain the ability of the devil fruit, An still endured nausea and swallowed the entire devil fruit. Nausea. Nausea. Even if I starve to death and jump into the sea, I won't eat the devil's fruit again. Under the scorching sun. An, who had just finished eating the devil's fruit, tugged at the collar of her pajamas. It's so hot. How could there be two suns in the sky? Shake your confused head. Pop it. The sand is flying in the air. A figure fell on the beach. You won't have to cross again just after crossing. Help me. Words mixed with strong survival desires wander on the vast sea. Ding, it has been detected that the host is activating the devil fruit. Ding, lacking activation energy. The sun sets and the moon rises, repeating the cycle. 3 days have passed. The deserted island, the tide of the sea crossing the boundary with the beach. A graceful girl was soaking in the seawater on the beach. The seawater rises and falls on her, but never recedes from her. Ding, external energy detected. System charging. Ding, system energy detected, consuming energy to activate devil fruit. Ding, the system is consuming energy. Ding, dot. Ding, ding, the fruit has been successfully activated. Ding, the system energy is depleted. Ding, the binding system is officially activated. Host. An age. 11 years old tie point. 1 point, each point can be used for a tie draw, character status. Hunger fruit. Phoenix fruit, blazing with the flames of the sun plus, the flame from the divine bird phoenix can burn the soul. Strength. E plus, ordinary person F, plus, agility. E, for ordinary people F, plus, physical fitness. D plus, average person F, plus, will. E, ordinary person F, plus, evaluation. Captain of Naval Headquarters, other items not yet open, tie-down lottery. 1 tie-down point / time ties. Daughter of the Sea effect. The daughter of the sea, the favor of the sea note. Sea woman. In the sea, you will have strength that surpasses yourself and your stamina consumption will be halved. Note. The favor of the sea. As the daughter of the sea, you are more likely to receive the favor of the sea. As long as you pray to the sea will agree. System space. No items. Chapter 2. Munch D, Kapp. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Chapter 2 Munch D, Kapp. East China Sea. On the waterway leading to Windmill Village, huge dog-headed warships are chopping through the waves on the sea. The dense cannons on both sides of the ship symbolize its strength, and the snow-white sails depict the Navy flag that embodies justice. Is it really okay for General Kapp to leave the G3 branch directly like this, said the man in a suit and hat, dressed in a Navy justice coat. The speaker is gray-haired, with a determined face and a burly figure. A pair of big hands were holding a bag of donuts and constantly stuffing them into their mouths. The naval cloak behind, symbolizing justice, resounded fiercely in the sea breeze. Bogart, it's okay. I took a leave with the Warring States period, didn't I? But Marshal of the Warring States period didn't agree, did he? Bogart was very speechless. Is that right? Ha ha ha, it's okay, the Warring States period will definitely not get angry. Blue blue blue. Blue blue blue. The sound of the telephone worm rings. Bogart looked at Kapu. The two remained silent for a moment. Kapu stood in the distance and reached out to answer the phone worm. The telephone worm has transformed into the appearance of the Warring States period. Kapp. The roar of the Warring States period came from the telephone worm. You're taking leave without permission again. Hurry up and get back to the New World for me. Ha ha ha, don't be angry during the Warring States period. After I go home and see my grandson, I will go back. Luffy must miss me very much now. Don't come on, it takes you 10 days and a half months every time you go home, so you can't bring your grandson to the Navy headquarters. Definitely next time, definitely next time. Kapu said with a guilty heart. I will have Sakazuki and Kazan replace you in the New World and quickly get back. The angry voice of the Warring States period emanated from the phone worm. Got it, got it. Before the Warring States could finish speaking, Kapp forcefully hung up the phone. After hanging up the phone, the Warring States period was really fierce. I was just going home to see my grandson, Kapp said, picking his nose in dissatisfaction. Naval Headquarters, Marinfando Marshal's office, cut. Damn it, Kapp is talking bad about me behind my back again. After listening to Kapp's words, Bogart blushed with sweat. I thought to myself, you have been absent from work 5 or 6 times a year, for more than 20 days at a time. Who can bear it? At this moment, a voice came. Interrupted Bogart's thinking. Report, sir, a small sea king has been found at the stern of our army's ship. Major, there are countless sea kings in the ocean. What's there to report on? Bogart looked displeased. Yes, sir. Mainly because this small sea king has been following us for a long time. The reporter spoke with some hesitation. We also tried to drive it away, but it still didn't want to leave. And it kept circling in place, seemingly seeking our help. Call for help. So, at this moment, Kapp stopped the donut in his hand and said, "All right, Bogart, let's go back and see what's so interesting." "Okay, Lieutenant General Kapu." After a moment, rear of a warship the noisy footsteps rang out. "General Kapu, that sea king is right here." Following the colonel's voice, a slender small sea king was circling at the rear of the warship. Seeing someone approaching, the Sea King class stopped spinning and let out a whimper towards the crowd. After a few sounds, the Sea Kings swam towards the distance. "Lieutenant General Kapu, this is..." Before Bogart could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Kapp. "Number 34, number 34, Bogart, you lead the warship to Windmill Village according to the original plan. I'm going to see where this fish will take me." After speaking, Kapu took a moonwalk and chased after the Sea King class just now. "General Kapu." Before Bogart could finish speaking, Kapp disappeared into the distance. Only one person stood in the same spot in Bogart. On the sea. Kapu followed behind the Neptunians with his moon steps. The reason why they follow the Sea King class is not only because of curiosity. More importantly, there was a voice in my mind that vaguely told me to follow it. One day later. A deserted island with a hint of greenery appeared in Kapp's view. The destination should be right ahead. After reading it, Kapp began to see and hear. A powerful aura swept over the island, but Kapp did not find any figures. Is it that the place is not right? Open the seeing and hearing color again to view the island. Oh, this time I saw and smelled a faint figure on the beach of the small island. Why didn't you notice just now? Kapp was full of doubts in his heart. Bang bang bang. Stepping on the moonwalk, Kapp swept towards the beach of the island. On the beach of the small island, after experiencing physical strengthening and being covered in dirt, and fell into a coma on the beach. Number 34, bang bang. Number 34, the sound of moon steps resounds from afar. It seems that someone rushed over, and the originally calm sea suddenly surged. Number 34, wow. Wow. Number 34, the waves surged towards the beach, washing away N's body. Over and over again, a fair figure appeared on the beach. Number 34, dawn. Number 34, landing on the beach, Kapp looked down at the girl washed away by the seawater. That Sea King brought me here just to save her. In thought, Kapp bent down and picked up the girl. When Kapp saw Anne's face, his hand shook and he almost fell to the ground. Quickly holding it tightly in his arms, he looked at her face again, feeling dazed for a moment. Memory keeps turning. 12 years ago, underwater prison, Promotion City. Kapu, I'll leave my son to you. He's innocent, let him live safely. A calm voice came out of the cell. In the dimly lit prison, two people sat opposite each other in front of a cell. 11 years ago, South China Sea, Bataraira Island. A mother with slight freckles and golden waves on her face. Sitting on the bed, looking at the baby in his arms with a kind expression on his face, he said, "Mr. Kapp, Ace, please." 11 years from now, a deserted island. Kapp stared fixedly at An in his arms. Blue eyes. Freckles on the face. Long golden hair. Each item is so similar to Lugio. Kapu murmured, "It's really like Lugio. Let's take you back first." After speaking, he used his moon step to chase the warship again. One day later, on the Doghead warship, Kapp fell from the air. Bogart walked forward. "General Kapu, you have finally returned. Please don't act alone next time." "Haha, got it, got it." Kapp waved his hand. "Lieutenant General Kapu, the girl in your arms is. This is the girl I found after following that Sea King. Let the ship doctor examine her." "Okay, Lieutenant General Kapu." Bogart has no curiosity about An's background, and there are countless strange things on the sea. I turned around and went to arrange it. Until the top war many years later. Kapu only then realized what kind of waves An, who was saved from the deserted island, would cause in the future. This is a day that changes the world. Chapter 3. Binding System. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Chapter 3 Binding System. A few days later. Doghead warship. In the room next to the restaurant. A beam of sunlight shone diagonally through the windows of the warship into the room. "Hiss, my head hurts so much." An slowly opened her eyes. The bed was so hard that she didn't feel comfortable sleeping at all. "Speaking of which, where is this?" A figure slowly sat up from the bed, with golden wavy hair draped over its chest, revealing its beautiful face. Looking at the unfamiliar room, An understood that she had been saved. Suddenly, An remembered that he had heard a system prompt before falling into a coma, activating the devil fruit. An was speechless for a while, and roast that others eat fruits to provide energy to strengthen themselves. She needs to provide her own energy to strengthen herself while eating fruits. However, thinking of one's own demon fruit, it is created by the system and does not exist in this world. It seems understandable, after all, uniqueness always comes at a cost. Upon careful consideration, if it weren't for being rescued by others, perhaps I would have traveled again. Amidst complaints, An opened the system panel, wanting to take a look at his current state. After all, from time travel to now, I have not yet opened my own property panel. Dark blue with dots. With An's call, a light blue screen appeared in front of An. Binding system host. An age. 11 years old. Character status. Hunger tie point. 1 point fruit. Phoenix fruit, blazing with the flames of the sun plus power. E+, ordinary person F, plus agility. E, for ordinary people F, plus physical fitness. D+, average person F, plus will. E, ordinary person F, plus evaluation. Captain of Naval Headquarters, other items not yet open, tie-down lottery. 1 tie-down point/time ties. Daughter of the Sea effect. The daughter of the sea, the favor of the sea note. Sea woman. In the sea, you will have strength that surpasses yourself and your stamina consumption will be halved. Note. The favor of the sea. As the daughter of the sea, you are more likely to receive the favor of the sea. As long as you pray to the sea will agree. System space. No items. Looking at her character state, and sighed for a moment. Other travelers are all from heaven to earth, with endless scenery. What about myself? I haven't had a full meal since crossing over. I almost starved myself to death. It's embarrassing for the passers-by. Follow the system panel and continue to look down. And discovered that her 4-dimensional attributes were far superior to those of normal adults, and her physical fitness evaluation reached D+. The overall evaluation has reached the level of a captain in the Navy headquarters. The types of attributes, the first 3 are very easy to understand. Strength represents strength, agility represents speed, and physique represents a person's physical fitness. As for the last will, it may not be clear for a while, so let's just ignore it for now. Try touching the demon fruit and the plus sign after the 4 attributes with your mind. The tip received is that there is a lack of demon fruit awakening cards and attribute enhancement cards. Looking at one's own attributes does not lead to blind arrogance. Empty has power but no skills, just a powerful child. If I provoke a naval captain now, I will definitely die. However, this body is already much stronger than my previous one, at least with some self-protection ability. As for how one completes reinforcement. When An saw the constraints displayed by the system, he fully understood. And didn't expect that his words of despair would become an opportunity to save himself. Speaking of which, it truly deserves to be a binding system, and this binding is too strong. Will all requests really be fulfilled? Anso said. Give it a try first, Goo Goo. Goo Goo. The stomach makes a hungry sound. Okay, let's make a wish for food first. An is very obedient to her original intention. Walk to the window where the sunlight shines in and look at the azure sea. And pondered and said, "Oh sea. Please give me food." 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. However, nothing happened. Is it because my tone is wrong? Anso said. By the way, the daughter of the sea, isn't this a scene of a mother's kindness and filial piety? Immediately, An changed into a coquettish tone and said to the window, "Dear sea mother, please give your lovely daughter food." 5 minutes later still, nothing happened. Is the tone too filial? Then An changed his tone again. In the following 20 minutes, An not only changed her tone of prayer, but also. Even with pre-time travel dance, nothing happened. Just as An was about to change his tone, a knock on the door sounded and a sound came from outside. "Little girl, please go to the restaurant with me for a meal," with a smile that is hard to hide in your words. An's face turned red as she heard a slightly smiling voice coming from the door. Recalling what I had done in the room earlier, my beautiful little face turned even redder. After a moment, An hugged me and walked towards the door expressionlessly, not feeling embarrassed, but rather someone else's thoughts. The room opened and a girl with a beautiful appearance and a cool temperament walked out. If it weren't for what happened in the room earlier, others would have thought she was an ice beauty. But in fact, a soldier wearing a navy uniform stood at the exit of the room, looking at her with a suppressed smile. Looking at the appearance of the naval soldiers, the red charm that had just fallen from their faces once again climbed onto An's face. Angry and embarrassed, An stomped on a soldier and ran towards the front. The soldiers behind him, holding their feet and crying and laughing, followed behind him. Time goes back 20 minutes ago. Naval restaurant. Meal time for all personnel. On a dining table, Kapp was eating lunch, and the empty plates on the table all showed Kapp's strength. In the world of pirates, a person's appetite largely reflects their strength. Bogart, is that little girl still unconscious? Yes, Lieutenant General Kapu. Did the ship doctor find any problems during her physical examination during this period? Although Bogart doesn't know why General Kapp is so concerned about a troubled little girl. But he answered truthfully, all aspects of the body are normal, there are no problems. According to the ship doctor's examination, the cause of the coma was due to the low blood sugar concentration inside the body. I'm just too hungry, I'm dizzy from hunger. Ha ha ha. Suddenly, Kapp burst out laughing. Bogart looked at Lieutenant General laughing Kapp and muttered to himself that it was so funny. Just as Bogart was pondering, waves of prayers came from the rooms near the restaurant. Strange prayer content, coupled with a childish girl's voice, constantly changing tone, and occasional footsteps. A fun scene was drawn in the minds of everyone in the restaurant, causing them to burst into laughter. Due to seeing and hearing colors, Kapp is able to perceive more clearly what An is doing in the room. Amidst laughter, food spurted out of my mouth. Ha ha ha. Kapu has traveled north and south to many places, so naturally he has seen sacrifices. However, most of those were formal rituals presided over by the elderly, and it was the first time he had seen someone like Xiang'an. Kapu stopped his tears from laughing and said to the soldier next to him, "Go and invite our little priest to the restaurant for a meal." Yes, Lieutenant General Kapu. Time goes back to the present. Guided by the slightly smiling crunching soldier, An arrived at the warship restaurant. The closer you get to the restaurant, the more intense everyone's laughter becomes, and An Mei's little face becomes even more rosy. Until An pushed open the door of the worship restaurant, warm laughter erupted inside. Chapter 4. Munch D. An. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Chapter 4 Munch D. An book continuation from previous chapter. When An pushed open the door of the worship restaurant, strong laughter erupted from the restaurant. Little sacrifice, there's no need to pray. The sea won't give us food. If we want to eat enough, we have to rely on our own hands, said a major playfully. Although An has been a person for 2 generations, he rarely went out to socialize with others in his previous life due to burns. I don't have many friends, so my actual social skills are not strong. Therefore, when encountering such a predicament and hearing jokes from others, I can only stand in place with my hands and fingers entangled, not knowing what to do. Bogart seemed to see An's predicament and spoke out to stop him. All right, Major Curry, don't joke anymore. As soon as Bogart's words fell, the laughter in the entire restaurant suddenly quieted down. Ha ha ha. Bogart, you are indeed more suitable for me to manage this worship. Upon hearing General Kapp's words, Bogart's lips twitched and he said, it's clear that you never manage warships. Leave all the mess to me to handle. When it comes to the cost of replacing and repairing warships after each battle. And with the poker face of the military supplies officer in the headquarters, Bogart couldn't help but sigh. Hey! Hear Bogart's complaint. Kapp laughed heartily. Is that so? Don't worry too much. Kapp picked his nose and patted Bogart's shoulder. Suddenly, Bogart showed an expression of lovelessness. Ha ha ha. Little girl, come here. Upon hearing Kapp's words, An Rushi quickly approached Kapp with a heavy burden. Looking at Kapp's face, An felt a bit familiar, but couldn't remember it for a moment. Out of courtesy, An asked, may I ask if you saved me? Kapp nodded. Subsequently, An stood straight with both hands on both sides and made a straight 60-degree bow. Thank you. Kapp burst out laughing when he saw it. Little girl, there's no need to do this. Saving civilians is what our Navy should do, it's not necessary. An was about to say something when suddenly her stomach let out a strange cry. Kapp smiled and said, let's eat first. Upon hearing Kapp's words, An awkwardly scratched her head. But there was no refusal either. After all, I have only eaten one demonic fruit since I traveled through time. Recalling that taste, An never wants to see the devil's fruit again in his lifetime. Immediately, An sat down at the dining table and indulged in a feast. The ship doctor said that your body has no problems, on the contrary, it is healthier than the vast majority of people. The reason for falling into a coma is because you haven't eaten for a long time. Bogart's voice came over. Although I found out through the system that I didn't have any problems. But getting a positive response from others still breathed a sigh of relief for An. Thank you for your reminder. Could you please take care of me during this period? As for why, it is certain that Bogart took care of himself instead of Kapp. An turned around and glanced at Kapp, who was frantically cooking, and everything was self-evident. Ping pong, ping pong. The restaurant is filled with the sound of utensils and plates colliding. Half an hour later. Ah, you're so full, An touched her bulging stomach. Looking at the mountains of empty plates piled up on the dining table, let out a satisfied sigh. Kapp and Bogart exchanged a glance, inexplicably feeling that An had the potential to become a strong person. The empty restaurant, Bogart ordered his men to tidy up the table. Kapp and An sat in chairs, staring at each other with their eyes open. In 5 minutes. Okay, you won, An rubbed her sapphire-like eyes. Why have you been staring at me, uncle? Aren't you competing with me to see who blinks first, said Kapp. Don't you think you're childish, uncle? I won. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, you're such a big person, and you're still fighting against me as a child. Aren't you blushing? I won. This is not the point is. I won, and hasn't finished yet. Kapp rushed to answer, with a hint of pride on his face. Bogart sat beside and watched, the old and young, with no waves in his heart. Looking at Kapp's smiling face. And warned himself to endure being placed under someone else's protection. Take a look at Kapp's arrogant smile again. And couldn't bear it any more and shouted angrily, "Uncle, come out and let's have a different competition. Without killing your spirit, you don't know how many eyes Lord Ma has." After speaking, he walked towards the deck of the warship. Although Kapp didn't understand, what does Lord Ma mean by having a few eyes? But it does not hinder his desire for victory in hearing An's words. Kapp, who refused to accept defeat, followed suit with great strides. 20 minutes later and Xing lay on the deck, with some chess pieces scattered beside him. At this moment, she was as helpless as when she first arrived in this world. And beside him, Kapp stood in front of a scoreboard, laughing heartily. Take a closer look, it says the score is 0.20. During these 20 minutes, An Xianho took out his strengths in checkers, matchups, and animal fights, but did not win a single game. Even in a desperate situation of losing, he took out his 5-character chess that won first prize in a primary school game, but still suffered a disastrous defeat. Looking at Kapp's proud expression and provocative gaze. And thought to herself, which family of adults play with children's toys so much? Tired, destroy it. Get up. Little girl, I still don't know your name. Silent and was immersed in sadness. Shouldn't you say your own name before asking someone else's name? Ha ha ha, I thought you already knew, Kapp rubbed his head and said with a smile. Che, who would know your name? Are you very famous? And pouted. Ha ha ha, being ignored by others. After a burst of laughter, Kapp solemnly said, My name is Munch D, Kapp. This time, I went home to visit my grandson and saved you on the way. When An heard Kapp say her full name, she suddenly stood up and looked at Kapp. I finally remembered why Kapp looked so familiar the first time I saw him. Isn't this the big support for the Blue Road Flying, the hero grandfather of the Navy? At the same time, An also complained, you, a naval hero, play chess and bully little girls every day. Upon hearing An's words, Kapp was not at all embarrassed, but rather proud. I've finished introducing you, it's your turn. And, she's an orphan. I don't remember anything else. A calm voice came from An's mouth. Whether in the past or present life, An is always lonely. The sea breeze brings the taste of freedom to the sea, but it also brings loneliness to the sea. It kissed and lifted the shattered hair on An's forehead before quietly leaving. Mr. Kapp, Roger said that if a girl is born, she is called An, and if a boy is born, he is named Ace. Do you still remember how your mother looked? An. I don't remember, but she should be very gentle, right? An walked to the guardrail of the warship and gazed at the shimmering sea, clutching the guardrail with both hands and smiling as he spoke. Looking back on my past life, if my mother were still alive, perhaps I would have a happy life too. Instead of crying alone in dreams on every pitch-black night. Tears gathered under my cheeks, slowly dripping onto the azure sea, stirring up ripples. The fish at the bottom of the sea gathered towards the boat, licking An's sadness. Watching and standing by the railing shedding tears, the young figure of Ace appeared in front of Kapp. Perhaps Ace will also be like An. Recalling the first time I saw Ongshi. Kapp sighed, perhaps it was a chance encounter of fate. Kapp walked up to An's side. Speak in a soft voice. Be my granddaughter. An. A calm voice came, and a pair of big hands landed on An's head, gently caressing her. Looking at Kapp's smiling face. An chuckled and wiped away her tears. With a smile on his face, he said to Kapp, okay. Immediately embraced by Kapp. Ha ha ha, from today on, your name is Munch D, and Grandpa will definitely protect you. Chapter 5. Bound Lottery. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Chapter 5. Bound Lottery. The next morning. Lying in bed, An recalled yesterday when she became Kapp's granddaughter and couldn't help but marvel at the good luck of the traveler. However, there are some things that need to be confirmed. Dark blue with dots ding. The host panel has changed, please check it yourself. The system panel appears in front of an binding system host. Munch D. An age. 11 years old. Character status. Normal tie point. 11 o'clock fruit. Phoenix fruit, blazing with the flames of the sun plus power. E+, agility. E+, physical fitness. D+, will. E+, evaluation. Captain of Naval Headquarters, other items not yet open, tie-down lottery. 1 tie-down point / time ties. Daughters of the Sea, descendants of heroes effect. The daughter of the sea, the favor of the sea, has a unique talent note. Click to expand, note. Click to expand, remark. Natural talent. As the granddaughter of a naval hero, you have an extraordinary talent, with a cultivation speed of plus 200% system space. No items. As the system panel unfolded, and first noticed that the host name had changed. And has been changed to Munch D. And, with 10 more binding points than yesterday. Ties also add a hero's younger generation. Indeed, establishing bonds with others is the correct way to unlock the system. The reason why An agreed to become Kapp's granddaughter. On the one hand, it is to feel Kapp's true feelings and sincerity. On the other hand, it is to explore the usage of the system. From the current perspective, the quickest way for An to become stronger is to form bonds with others. Forming bonds is also conditional, not just verbal communication between two people, but requires both parties to have sincere emotions. When looking at the effect of the bond, An couldn't help but sigh, this naval grandfather is not really innocent. The bond effect is really too strong. Increasing your cultivation speed by 200% means that you are more likely to become a strong person than others. Subsequently, An turned his gaze to the tie lottery function and experimented with the effect of ties yesterday. Remembering yesterday's actions, An Xiaoyan blushed with embarrassment. Today, let's try the lottery function. Originally, I only planned to have a single draw to test the water, but now that I have 11 binding points, it would be even better. As is well known, the first 10 consecutive hits in any lottery are the highest. Excluding non-chieftains. After all, non-emirates have no future. Tie-up lottery. A colorful light shone brightly. After the light dissipated, a colorful vending machine appeared in front of An. There are 2 buttons at the coin slot of the vending machine, single draw, 10 consecutive. Looking at her own shackles, An Xiaoshu boldly chose 10 lucky draws. As the binding point disappeared, the colorful vending machine began to shake wildly. With a nervous heart, An stared at the shaking vending machine and prayed frantically in her heart. A few seconds later, the vending machine spat out a pile of boxes, which shone with different colors. Anze counted them carefully. They were 1 gold, 2 purple, 2 blue, and 5 white. Golden legend. An jumped up from the bed excitedly. Bang! And hugged her head and squatted on the bed. Opened the lottery box. The various colored boxes shook one by one, and the rewards inside appeared one after another. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining. Round sunscreen cap X1, white, sunshade umbrella X1, white, exquisite cowboy hat X1, blue, note. Features. Never damage and clean thoroughly. Bread box X1, white, barreled instant noodles box X2, white, a set of X1, blue, fitted underwear, note. Features. Automatic adjustment, never damaged, always clean, physical enhancement card X1, purple, note. Used to improve the host's physical fitness. Strength Enhancement Card X1, Purple, Note. Used to enhance strength and physical fitness. Devil Fruit Awakening Card X1, Gold, Note. The Phoenix Fruit cannot awaken on its own in this world and must be awakened through the Awakening card. The white rewards are all small items in daily life. Blue rewards are more practical things. With a thought, a set of white lace underwear appeared in Anne's hand. Twisting her body, Anne began to wear underwear. The only downside is that the current body is unable to control any part of it. Fortunately, the clothes automatically adjust in size. Purple and gold are important items for enhancing strength. With a thought, 3 cards appeared in Anne's hand. System, Awakening Devil Fruit. Ding. Physical fitness needs to reach level C in order to undergo the first Devil Fruit Awakening. It seems that in the future, improving attributes should prioritize improving physical fitness, and thought to himself. Use Attribute Enhancement Card X2. 2 cards turned into flowing light and flew into Anne's body. A warm current flowed through her body, and Anne felt that her strength was much stronger than before. Use the Awakening Devil Fruit Awakening card. The card turns into a stream of light. A bone-chilling chill rose from Anne's body, and frost appeared on the wooden floor. A blue flame rose from Anne's hand, although it was a flame, it gave people a chilling feeling. Note. Legend has it that there are many types of phoenixes that can handle various types of flames. Burning the sky and freezing the sea are easy for them. The ice phoenix can use the flame of ice to freeze all things in the world. The phoenix fruit is really powerful. The system is so big that you won't get beaten in vain in the wasteland world. An unknowingly revealed a certain truth. And also decided to use the remaining 1 binding point. Who knew that the next 10 consecutive years and months would be enough to gather all the resources? System, Single Draw. After a violent shake, the colorful vending machine was shaken. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining it. Practice Acceleration Card, 2 hours, X1, Blue, Note. Increases the user's cultivation speed by 50%. The perfect combination of Hero's Grandson and Cultivation Acceleration Card for cultivation. Dark blue with dots. Ding. Host properties have changed, please check on your own. Binding System Host. Munch D. An age. 11 years old. Character status. Normal tie-down point. None fruit. Phoenix Fruit Flame of Ice Plus, click to switch. The flame from Joyo can freeze all things, including souls. Power. D+, Agility. D+, Physical Fitness. C+, Will. E+, Evaluation. Rear Lieutenant Colonel of the Navy Headquarters, other items not yet open, tie-down lottery. 1 tie-down point / time ties. Daughters of the Sea, Descendants of Heroes effect. The Daughter of the Sea, the Favor of the Sea, innate talent. Note. Click to expand, System Space. Bread Box X1, White, Instant Noodles X2, White, Sunshade Umbrella X1, White, Circular Sunscreen Hat X1, White, Exquisite Denim Hat X1, Blue, Cultivation Acceleration Card, 2 hours, X1, Blue. After the awakening of the Devil Fruit, all 4 attributes have been significantly improved, with agility increasing the most. It has crossed 2 stages from E to D, and willpower has also slightly increased. The evaluation has changed from a captain of the Navy Headquarters to a lieutenant colonel of the Navy Headquarters. Off topic. The attributes are divided into F, E, D, C, B, A, S, and currently unattainable SS. Each level is further divided into 3 stages, such as SSS+, which is easy to improve within the same stage, but difficult to cross stages. The setting of the protagonist's demonic fruit. Because the protagonist's demonic fruit is made from the blood of a high-level world phoenix, in order to achieve full beast transformation, 3 flames must be awakened, and finally, a binding point must be used for ultimate awakening in order to transform the protagonist into a phoenix. Of course, each awakening flame can be considered a minor awakening, which will slightly increase attributes. Chapter 6. Testing. You are listening at Naval Full.Audio. Chapter 6. Testing. Dong dong dong. A hurried knocking came at the door. And woke up to eat. Kapp's voice came from outside the door. Got it, Grandpa. Secure the system and change into spacious white pajamas. Why don't you ask me to change this white pajama? Where can we find clothes for children on the warship? Naval Restaurant. Good morning, Grandpa, Uncle Bogart. Through Kapp's introduction yesterday, I knew that the man in front of him was Kapp's deputy Bogart. At the same time, he handles all the affairs on the warship, big and small. Good morning, An. Compared to Kapp, who only knew how to giggle, Bogart, as an adjutant, was obviously more polite. Ha ha ha, come and have dinner soon. We'll start training soon. Only by constantly becoming stronger can we protect ourselves and our families. Got it. 10 minutes later. Naval deck. Kapp and An stood at both ends of the deck. Before starting training, test your physical fitness first. This way, Grandpa can choose the most suitable training method for you. An knew it was a necessary step and nodded in agreement. An, punch me with all your might. Okay, Grandpa. The words fell. An used all her strength to punch Kapp, and the strong sound of breaking the wind mixed with her snow-white little fist hit. Bang! The fist landed on Kapp's chest, and apart from making a sound of physical collision, Kapp remained motionless. On the other hand, it was An, but she crouched on the ground holding hands and started blowing. Grandpa, your body is too hard, it hurts so much. Ha ha ha, not bad, An. Your punch probably has the power of a captain in the Navy headquarters. Kapp found a good way to describe it. Upon hearing Kapp's description, Bogart next to him realized that it was a good seedling. Alright, let's proceed to the second test. Kapp ignored An, who was crouching on the ground and covering his fist. A naval soldier brought a plate of peanuts. An, I will smash peanuts at you next. You should try to avoid it as much as possible, otherwise it will be very painful. An was about to say wait a moment, but a peanut flew straight over. Activate your body to instinctively and flexibly dodge past, lightly pat your chest, it's so close. Before An could catch his breath, the peanuts shot towards him again, and An began to mobilize his body to dodge one by one. Seeing this, Kapp also became interested and began to increase the speed and force of the launch. Gradually, An felt her body becoming increasingly tired. Until he was hit by a peanut, and then countless peanuts hit An's body. Pain and pain. Grandpa, stop. Kapp seemed deaf and continued to shoot peanuts fiercely. It didn't stop until there were no particles in the plate. At this moment, An seemed to have Parkinson's disease, writhing wildly in place and moaning incessantly in his mouth. Ha ha ha, Kapp said with a smile on his face. An, your speed and responsiveness are also very good, probably at the level of a naval captain. Next, it's time for the third test. Kapp pulled out a thick iron chain. Wait, dear Grandpa. Before Kapp could finish speaking, Ango interrupted with a cut in his mouth. Can you give your lovely and beautiful granddaughter a break? An attempted to evade the test by acting coquettishly. But Kapp didn't care at all. Years of training for Luffy have already made him heart-wrenching. You remind me of Luffy like this, and he always asks me not to throw him into the deep mountains. Upon hearing this, An only felt a chill in her heart. After speaking, Kapp disregarded An's strong struggle and directly tied An to the iron chain. Carry An to the stern of the ship and tie the other end of the iron chain to the guardrail. Seeing this scene, An immediately sought help from Bogart and said, Uncle Bogart, stop the old man quickly. Before she could finish speaking, An was thrown into the sea by Kapp. Isn't it a bit inappropriate for General Kapp to do this? After all, An is only 11 years old. Kapu waved his hand indifferently and said, "It's okay, trust her. Luffy is even younger than her and receives cruel training differently." Seemingly thinking of something, Kapp shouted to An, "This test will last for 1 hour, try your best to survive." "Alright, we should go, Bogart." Upon hearing this, Bogart did not say anything. To survive on the sea, one needs to become a strong person. Without strength, nothing can be protected. In a greenhouse, it is impossible to grow tall trees. As he spoke, a smiling and charming figure appeared in Bogart's mind. An, who was thrown into the sea by Kapp, felt a burst of anger when she heard Kapp's words. "I wanted to speak up and fight back, but ended up receiving a mouthful of seawater. Gulu gulu. It's mixed with some fragrant words." Seawater kept pouring into her nose, and then felt her consciousness gradually blur. Ding. Detect if the host is in the sea, and if it has the effect of opening the sea girl. The sound of heavenly sounds echoed in An's mind. Open, open, open. Speak with peace of mind and urgency. Ding. The effect has been turned on. Consciousness gradually awakens, and the seawater in the nasal cavity is no longer uncomfortable. At this moment, An feels as if she was born suitable to live in the sea. Swinging her feet, An swam towards the direction of the warship and was surprised to find that her speed was much faster than before. Open the system panel. Dark blue with dots. Ding. The host panel properties have changed, please check on your own. Binding system host. Munch D. An age. 11 years old. Character status. Sea woman tie-down point. None fruit. Phoenix fruit flame of ice plus, click to switch, strength. D+, agility. D+, physical fitness. C+, will. E+, evaluation. Rear Lieutenant Colonel of the Navy Headquarters, other items not yet open, tie-down lottery. 1 tie-down point / time ties. Daughters of the Sea, descendants of heroes effect. The Daughter of the Sea, the Favor of the Sea, has a unique talent note. Click to expand, system space. Click to expand, sure enough, when activating the Sea Woman effect, all 3 attributes except willpower have been significantly improved. Although none of them have broken through to the next stage, just this is enough. The effect of breathing under the sea of light means that as long as she wants to run, no one can stop her. Amber, who was immersed in the seawater, became bored and began to reminisce about his past life and the content related to the One Piece. At the same time, I am also contemplating my future development direction. In terms of the system, after arriving at Windmill Village, we need to find a way to form a bond with San Shao only. In terms of oneself, it is necessary to strengthen training and turn attributes into strengths that one can master. Through the Kappa test just now, and has understood the directions corresponding to the 4 attributes. Strength corresponds to attack power. The speed and neural response speed corresponding to agility. Physical constitution corresponds to resistance to beating and resilience. Will corresponds to the mental strength of each individual. As for whether there are other effects, they will be discovered later. As the warship advanced in the sea, An suddenly noticed a strange little fish ahead. An wanted to come forward and check, but unfortunately the iron chain was too short. Fish seemed to understand An's thoughts and swam towards An himself. Only when the fish arrived did An see clearly that it was not a fish. Blue eyes, fiery red feathers, and duck-like sawls. It looks like a diving bird from a previous life. Little one, you're really beautiful. It seems that I understood An's praise. The diving bird rubbed An's cheek and pierced the water surface, flying towards the sky. Time passed by little, and the sun came above the warship. Kapu, this guy won't forget me, will he? Recalling memories of past lives, An's head is covered in black lines. In the midst of contemplation, the iron chain trembled. Bogart's voice came. Come up, An. Okay, lying at the stern of the ship, the imitator of the ability touched the sea and weakly thanked Bogart. Thank you, Uncle Bogart. Lying on the deck for a few minutes, An clenched his fist and angrily walked towards the deck. Watching An leave, Bogart sighed and felt that it was really polite. Step by step, follow up. On the deck of the warship, Kapp was lying on a beach chair, sunbathing and sleeping lazily. An, who rushed from the stern, was furious at this scene. Make me suffer. But you're enjoying it. After reciting, An rushed towards Kapp and jumped up, his snow-white iron fist slamming heavily on Kapp's face. Bang! Kapp fell and flew out. The naval soldiers standing guard around were taken aback. Everyone remained silent. This is the matter of the family and grandchildren. It's better for them not to get involved. However, I am also secretly vigilant not to provoke this sister.in.law in the future. When Captain fell onto the deck, he woke up and saw the wedding. He looked up at the sun again, as if he was aware of something. She awkwardly scratched her head and burst into laughter. And, when did you come? Don't follow me like this, Grandpa. Are you trying to kill me? You also need to have some tolerance in your nerves. And roared at Kapp. Kapp seemed to realize his mistake by throwing an 11-year-old girl into the sea for so long. So he said with a guilty heart, go dry the clothes and don't get sick. Not accepting Kapp's concern, An angrily left. After An's figure disappeared, Kapp asked, Bogart, how long did An stay in the sea? Bogart looked at Kapp with a serious expression and replied, 3 hours. Ha ha ha, Kapp laughed heartily. We found a treasure this time. Bogart's face also showed a satisfied smile. Chapter 7. Naval Lieutenant Colonel in Battle. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Chapter 7. Naval Lieutenant Colonel in Battle back in the room, and touched her hand and roast, damn old man's face is so hard. Taking off her pajamas and underwear, and walked into the bathroom without a trace. The sound of splashing water echoed from the bathroom. After a shower, this devil fruit is really useful, and was controlling the flames to bake clothes on the floor. Put on your clothes and come to the restaurant. Staring coldly at Kapp, he started eating on his own. Kapp ignored An's resentment and announced the test results. Your physical fitness is similar to that of a major in the Navy headquarters. As the sound fell, the restaurant gradually quieted down. Kapp did not pay attention to these changes. Then he said, although you have the physical fitness of a naval lieutenant colonel. But your actual combat ability is probably only at the level of a lieutenant. Hush. The others in the restaurant took a deep breath. Although a lieutenant may sound weaker than a major, you also need to see who it is. This is just an 11-year-old girl. When everyone saw that Major General Bogart did not refute, they knew that it was true. I can't help but feel that I have lived on a certain animal over the years. General Kapu, may I ask if what you said is true? A deep voice came in. Ha ha ha, Kapp laughed and said, of course it's true. Cooley. Cooley hesitated for a moment, but then couldn't help but speak up and say, Lieutenant General Kapu, please allow me and Miss An to have a competition. Then he quickly added, I don't doubt Miss An's strength. Just seeing a true genius, I can't help but want to spar. Ha ha ha, I understand Curry. After the meal is over, let's have a competition on the deck. Glancing at Kapp, who made the decision without authorization, and did not speak out against it. Because she also wants to take this opportunity to see her practical skills. Thank you, Lieutenant General Kapu. Today's dog-headed warship is very lively, and any soldier who is not on duty is concentrated on the deck. In the middle of the crowd, Major Curry and An were in opposition. You say who will win? It must be Colonel Curry. I think Miss An will win. Miss An is so charming. I want to give birth to a monkey for Miss An. Everyone was discussing it one after another. The competition is starting. Bogart announced amidst everyone's discussion. As the sound fell, Curry's feet quickly stepped in place. With a whoosh, Curry disappeared directly into place. It's shaving, someone explained on the side. After Cooley disappeared, Anshin felt the surrounding air shaking. A fist with the sound of breaking the wind smashed towards him. In peace of mind, it's so fast. A sudden roll forward was enough to dodge the blow. Looking back, I saw a hole smashed out of the deck where An had just stood. Everyone was surprised, and most of them didn't see where Colonel Cooley had gone. But An could avoid Colonel Curry's punch, which was already more than most of them. Before An could regain his composure, Curry's second punch had already arrived. Feeling the sound of breaking the wind from behind, An turned around and punched in to face it. Two fists, one big and one small, collided in the air and stirred up a strong fist wind, then froze in the air. Cooley said at this moment, he is truly a genius, and his power is already comparable to most captains. You should know that the Navy on the Kappa warship has survived the battles in the New World, and their strength can be imagined. Immediately, Curry increased his strength and An was thrown out with a punch. After rolling twice on the deck, the small body stopped. Instead of retreating, An charged towards Curry and jumped up to punch him. Curry didn't avoid either. The two of them, big and small, were on the deck, coming and going, punching each other one after another. Watching the onlookers, everyone was very lively. After 5 breaths, An was thrown off the deck by Curry due to insufficient strength. On the way out, An pondered that this guy's strength had definitely reached level C and there was no chance of winning against him. We need to think of other ways. An endured the pain on her body, slowly stood up, and rushed towards Curry again. From then on, the whole deck kept repeating this scene. An flew out, got up, rushed over, and flew out again. Kapp and Bogart saw this scene and nodded lightly. They are all strong players in this world, and of course, they understand that it is easy to give up when faced with strong opponents, but such people cannot become strong players. True strength lies in strength, and strength lies in willpower. An, of course, also knows these things. Although she is lazy, it doesn't mean she doesn't have a strong heart. Having experienced the ups and downs of the world, she is more aware of the importance of her own strength. She wants to become stronger. To become as strong as my grandfather. Strong thoughts arise from peace of mind. The onlookers felt An's will and couldn't help but be moved by it. An panted heavily again and stood up again. Even with a C-level physique, I can't bear being hit continuously like this. Through the repeated collisions just now, An has found a possible way to defeat the opponent. The onlookers felt embarrassed as they watched An stand up time and time again. If it were them, how many people could do better than this 11-year-old girl? Perhaps this is a genius. Only those who are capable cannot be considered geniuses. Similarly, Curry was also shocked by An's will, remembering that she didn't have such a will when she was her size. Watching the onlookers being influenced by An, Bogart felt that this competition was very worthwhile. Amidst the gaze of everyone, An rushed towards Curry again. One punch, 2 fists. Curry couldn't remember how many punches he had swung. When Curry swung his next punch forcefully, suddenly, An flashed and rolled up to Cooley's back. Raise the corners of your mouth slightly. Is there a creaking sound from stepping on the wooden deck with both feet? An exerted all her strength to deliver the final punch. Carrying an unwavering belief in victory, he shot towards Curry's back. Not good. Cooley was startled and his blood accelerated, causing the muscles in his back to contract rapidly. Iron block, shouted loudly in an instant, and felt as if he had hit a thick iron plate. A large amount of blood dripped from the snow-white little hands. The accumulated injuries left An unable to move. All right, the winner of this competition is Major Curry, Kapp said to stop. Bogart, have the ship doctor check the security check and don't leave any hidden injuries. Okay, Lieutenant General Kapu. As Kapp stopped the competition, and instantly relaxed. Breathing in fresh air, lying on the deck waiting for the arrival of the ship doctor. Not long after, the ship doctor arrived on the deck. "Thank you for letting the water go, Major Curry." And, naturally aware, knows how to use a lieutenant colonel from the Navy's Type 6. It's so easy to defeat oneself, more than in the test. Curry is testing An's power. Colonel Curry nodded in response. Then he said, "Miss An, there are other powers that haven't been used." An nodded. The reason why fruit power is not used is not only to hone one's physical strength. More importantly, I just want to give myself a bottom card. Looking at An's youthful appearance, coolly continued, "I joined the Navy at the age of 10 and it took me a full 20 years to climb to where I am today. I can say that I am very clear about the role of talent. However, Miss An is so young that she possesses such powerful power. In the future, you can definitely become a Navy Lieutenant General, or even a Major General. Perhaps you can eliminate all those damn pirates and restore calm to the sea." When Curry talked about pirates, his voice suddenly became stronger. Are pirates really so despicable? When watching animations in his past life, and didn't feel how repulsive the pirates were. Coolly glanced at An. "You will see it soon." After speaking, Curry strode away. "There's no big problem, Miss An. It's just a slight bone fracture, just a few days of cultivation will help." The ship doctor bandaged the wound for An and left the deck. What exactly does a pirate look like? Chapter 8. First Encounter of Pirates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 First Encounter of Pirates on the third day after the competition ended. Since the competition with Curry ended that day, the soldiers on the warship began to look at An with a look of admiration. An felt a wave of bone-chilling sensation. After obtaining Kapp's consent, An has been fighting Curry for the past 2 days besides eating and sleeping. Through rounds of competitions, An gradually gained control of his own strength. As for the injury on my hand, thanks to my strong physique, it healed on the same evening. During the battle with Major Curry, if no other moves are used, the two will be at a 5-5 split. If using the 6 style An, it means being beaten unilaterally. As for why I didn't learn Navy Type 6. An also asked Cooley if he could teach him Navy Type 6, but was refused by Cooley on the grounds of leaking naval secrets. Looking for Mr. Kapu, he was also refused on the pretext that time was not up. Although Kapu did not hand over the 6 styles to An Haijun, he handed it over to An, his ultimate skill, Iron Fist. In the training room of a naval warship, a certain girl is forging iron. The iron striking here is truly iron striking, using fists to strike iron. A day ago, Grandpa, since you couldn't teach me the 6 styles of the Navy, please teach me something you are good at. An earnestly prayed with a serious expression. Upon hearing this, Kapu looked at An and laughed heartily, saying hello. So there was a scene of forging iron in the training room. Kapp told An that if he could break the iron discus in the training room, it would prove that her iron fist had entered. While practicing iron fist diligently, Curry's voice came from outside the door, asking An to gather on the deck. As soon as she arrived on the deck, An saw a naval soldier reporting his work to Kapp. It wasn't until An approached that he could hear clearly. It turned out that the lookout had discovered that the pirates were plundering the ship. "Curry, are you sure which pirate group it is?" "It has been confirmed that the Iron Bull pirates are offering a reward of 8 million Bailey. Captain Charles is a member of the animal kingdom known for his bull fruit ability. Kapu was a bit surprised that he could meet a demon fruit-capable person in the East China Sea. It seems that my clean sea action was not carried out thoroughly enough. Command the warship to move forward at full speed." 5 minutes later An noticed the black smoke rising ahead. An ugly pirate ship docked near a white swan ship. A pirate flag consisting of a silver bull head and 3 skeletons hangs on the pirate ship. At this position, An can already observe the battle taking place from the deck by the White Swan. listening to the ferocious and lewd laughter of pirates coming from afar, as well as the pleading of ordinary people on the White Swan boat. And frowned tightly. Iron Bull pirates. Captain, we found a warship approaching us. Take a look, is it from the 153 Naval branch? I don't want to confront Monka yet. Captain, it's not a warship from the 153 branch. Then don't worry about them, wait for them to get closer and take them down together. However, Captain, the number of guns on their warship is a bit abnormal. Before he could finish speaking, the captain didn't know where he had gone. The warship slowly approached the White Swan. You said shelling, what about civilians? This is an ordinary passenger ship with a 2-layer structure. Colonel Curry, this battle is under your command. Letting Curry command means it's a training session and not sending out strong ones. Upon receiving Kapp's order, Curry commanded the Navy soldiers to launch an attack on the pirates. And also held a standard long sword and followed the soldiers to the White Swan ship. Seeing An's movements, Kapp didn't say anything. And on the White Swan did not go to the deck with the Navy soldiers to kill the pirates. But quickly enter the cabin, trying to protect civilians. The dim cabin corridor was scattered with some personal belongings. A strong bloody smell and a pungent smell of gunpowder hit the face. And fanned the air, lightly pinched her mouth and nose, and walked in. If this is An who has just crossed over, he will definitely turn back immediately. But during these days of fighting against Curry, An's personality also underwent a slight change. Inside the cabin follow the wide passage towards the interior. When passing by a room on An road, suddenly my body dodged to the side. Then a long sword pierced out of the room. Seeing the attack fruitless, a pirate with a big beard, bare chest and exposed breasts kicked through the door and walked out. Looking at An's beautiful face and graceful body, the bearded pirate licked his lips. Little sister, why did you come here alone? Come here, let uncle protect you, she said with a lewd smile after speaking, reach out and grab An. And pulled out the standard long sword in his hand, and a sword light flashed through. The bearded pirate knelt in place, holding his bleeding wrist and howling. Although An has never learned swordsmanship, he relies on his exceptional physical fitness. It can be said that solving a pirate is an easy task. The bearded pirate endured severe pain and said with a grim expression, little bastard, I'll kill you. The long sword thrust towards An, causing him to dodge. And gently swung his sword and cut off the other hand of the bearded pirate. The bearded pirate, who had lost both hands, curled up on the floor and convulsed wildly. An slowly approaches. Stepping heavily on the chest of the bearded pirate, the cold voice said, tell me, are there any other pirates in the cabin? The originally beautiful and pleasant voice sounded like the voice of a demon to the bearded pirate. Yes, 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 there are still 11 people, we are part of a small team. You still know what to say, and stomped on the chest of the bearded pirate again. Our captain is an expert in iron bull fruit and likes men. The co-captain and the navigator have a leg. Seeing all these useless news. An's toes forcefully crushed the chest of the bearded pirate. A large amount of blood flowed out of the mouth of the bearded pirate. Leaving over the body of the bearded pirate, and walked into a small room. The room is very simple and the decoration is also very simple, clearly designed for ordinary people. On the guest bed in the room, a young girl lay flat on it, holding an open letter in her hand. If it weren't for the bleeding wounds on the chest and the broken clothes on the body, others will surely think that she is just closing her eyes and recuperating. Picking up the envelope, the content appeared in front of An. Dear Lucy, long time no see, I miss you very much. I still remember the time when I met you on Kaki's Island. Your beauty, cuteness, and tenderness are engraved in my mind. I have recently found a good job, and when we meet again, I will propose to you. I looked at Lucy who died tragically. Unfolded the letter and put it in her arms. The long sword emerged from the body, picked up the sheet from the bed, and gently let it fall, quietly leaving the room. In the remaining time, An searched for 11 pirates in the cabin and executed them one by one. And enter each room to search for any survivors. After searching for it, An found nothing but a scene like hell on earth. Then, amidst the constant influx of naval soldiers, An walked out. Leaving the cabin, the battle on the deck has shifted to the pirate ship. An has no intention of participating in the battle on the pirate ship. Standing on the White Swan, looking around, corpses were everywhere. There are men, women, the elderly, children, babies, pirates, guards countless. Is this a pirate? Even An, who has become stronger in willpower, cannot adapt to this purgatory-like scene. Suppressing the nausea in his heart, he walked silently towards the warship. On the pirate ship, Charles, who transformed into a bullhead, charged left and right in the encirclement of the naval squadron, attempting to escape the encirclement. Listen to Cooley report on the progress of the battle. In this battle, except for Captain Charles of the Iron Bull pirates, he still survived. All the other pirates were annihilated, killing 45 of them. There were no casualties on our side. And, this result is not surprising. Cooley continued to report, no one survived on the White Swan passenger ship. 24 hostages, including 6 males, 17 adult females, and 1 girl, were rescued from the cabin of the Iron Bull pirates' crew. Currently, the personnel are temporarily stationed on the deck. Listening to Cooley's report, An turned to look at the hostages rescued from the deck. They were all yellow-skinned, ragged, covered in wounds, sitting on the deck with their heads down. An walked over and rubbed her cheeks. Squatting in front of a cute little girl, she smiled and whispered, "Hello, little sister." The little girl looked at An's clean and beautiful hair. Carefully retreated back. She had only seen such beautiful hair on the head of that terrifying woman on the pirate ship. An awkwardly smiled and took out a bag of bread from the system space. Tearing open the packaging bag and handing it over, he opened his mouth and said, "I'm not a bad person." The little girl hesitated for a while, but ultimately couldn't resist hunger. She took the bread and then ate it in large gulps. Watching the little girl eating bread, An asked again. Perhaps because she ate An's bread, the little girl finally spoke her name. Sally, a sticky voice came from the little girl's mouth. And continued, "How old are you this year?" 11 years old, 11 years old. Sally's words hurt An's nerves, and she looked at the little girl in front of her, covered in wounds and bony, who was actually the same age as herself. Watching the crowd squatting on the deck, there was no anger or hope in their eyes. All there is numbness and despair. On the broad deck of the warship, the sea breeze drifted with a strong smell. The wailing of ordinary people. The cruelty of pirates. The purgatory in the cabin. The bodies on the deck. Sally in front of me. All the people and things that have happened since encountering the pirate appeared before An's eyes. The evil in human hearts is evident. An covered her face with a single hand, only feeling amused. Ha ha ha. An emitted a mocking laugh. This world is really rotten. An stood up, stabilized his shaky body, and looked up at the sky. The first time I felt the sun was so dazzling. Living on the same sea. Under the sunshine. Above the dust. Belonging to humanity. For the first time, An felt how unfamiliar humanity was. Bow down to the strong. Abuse the weak recklessly. Since that's the case, let's set a small goal first. Let this twisted world return to normal. An bent down and touched Sally's head, saying softly, "Sister, go prepare something for you to eat." Sally nodded in fear as she watched An leave, then lowered her head and crazily ate the bread. It seems that I'm worried that I won't be able to enjoy such delicious food again in the future. Arriving at the restaurant, An instructed the chef to prepare food for the survivors. Return to the deck again. The battle on the pirate ship is still ongoing. Looking at Charles bouncing around. and suppressed her anger and shouted, "Enough. Colonel Curry, let them come back. Let me handle the rest." Cooley looked at An with an incorrect expression and did not respond. Instead, he looked at Lieutenant General Kapu. Kapp looked at An, knowing that what was supposed to come would eventually come, so he nodded lightly. Any normal person will undergo two changes after encountering pirates. One is to become a cruel and ruthless pirate. The second is to join the Navy to safeguard the justice in our hearts. As for surviving on the brink of death, is there a truly safe place in this twisted world? After a few breaths, all naval soldiers who received the retreat message returned to the warship. On the pirate ship, Charles secretly felt fortunate to have survived the retreat of the Navy, unaware that even greater pain lay ahead. On a warship, after the retreat of naval soldiers, An can no longer suppress her anger. All anger turns into towering flames. Sapphire's eyes suddenly turned bright red, and the safety body ignited a crimson flame. In the surprised gaze of everyone, An jumped up from the deck. A pair of huge wings of flames sprouted from behind, standing tall in mid-air. Staring at Charles. "Slowly raise your right hand." Red flames surged towards the back, forming a huge phoenix phantom. "Garbage. Go to hell." A roar echoed through the sky. "Divine bird, annihilation." With Anne's fingers pointing down, the huge phoenix shadow flapped its wings and slowly rose. At the highest cry, it echoed through the sky and quickly plunged towards the Iron Bull pirates. Iron Bull Charles, seeing the huge phoenix phantom standing in place like a miracle. Bang! A huge phoenix phantom fell from the sky and landed on the Iron Bull pirate ship. The picture of the end slowly unfolds. A huge mushroom cloud slowly rose from the pirate ship, and a strong flame spread around. As for Captain Charles of the Iron Bull pirates, he repays his sins in flames. Ah! This was deliberately done by Anne to make Charles pay the price for his sins. Give an explanation to those who suffer. The slaves on the deck watched this scene and knelt down, constantly kowtowing. Listening to Charles's screams, tears of gratitude flowed down one by one. "Quickly retreat, increase power, raise all sails." Bogart shouted loudly. Before the Navy could take action, Kapp took the lead. Fist-boned galaxy impact, Kapu leaped up, with a large amount of domineering colors entwined around the iron fist. With just one blow of the howling fist wind, the huge flames were blown away. Looking at the flames scattered in other directions, the navies cheered in unison, "Long live Lieutenant General Kapu." However, our master, the police officer, had already exhausted his strength and passed out in a coma, being held in the arms of Major Curry. Look towards the center of the flame. The Iron Bull pirates and the White Swan have long disappeared, with only a continuous stream of seawater flowing back, symbolizing everything that happens here. From then on, there was a legend circulating in the East China Sea: whenever evil comes to the world, the divine bird will come to punish the world. Windmill Village, have you seen Sister Magino? What a beautiful big bird. Corbeau Mountain, have you seen Ace? We will definitely become stronger than them in the future. Chapter 9. Navy Type 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Navy Type 6. Little ones, hurry up and kill these damn guards. Please spare us. Don't do it. The girl's screams rang out. Ha ha ha, the pirate's ferocious laughter. And suddenly sat up from the bed, sweating profusely on his head and panting heavily in his mouth. Drink. Drink. Lift the blanket and place it on the deck. At night, there is a bright moon hanging in the sky, with stars dotted beside it. The images during the day circulate in Anne's mind like slides. And, you're awake. Listening to Grandpa's voice, and let out a gentle, A low voice sounded, "Grandpa, how do you arrange for those survivors?" It will be sent to the nearby naval branch, where there are specialized resettlement measures. Grandpa, why are pirates so cruel? They can leave even if they rob the treasure. Thinking about the scenes on the White Swan. An said indignantly. Because they are no longer humans, just a group of wild beasts dominated by desire. Grandpa, are all pirates like this? You need to discover it yourself. Look at the world with your heart, don't be misled by appearances. Kapp touched An's head and asked in a low voice, An, will you become a pirate? The hazy moonlight shone on the two of them, and the entire worship was incredibly quiet. Although I don't know why Grandpa asked like this, I listened to Kapp's slightly deep voice. And replied in a positive tone, I won't become a pirate. And turned around with a resolute face. I will personally take this sea of garbage, livestock, and send them back to hell. Let them redeem themselves for the sins they have committed. Feeling An's heartfelt disgust towards the pirates, Kapp laughed heartily. He hugged An in his arms and gave him a fierce kiss. Damn you stinky old man, what do you want to do? Although An was angry, he didn't leave Kapp's embrace. Ha ha ha, An, let's start learning the Navy's 6 styles tomorrow. I will definitely cultivate you into the strongest Navy. I know the old man, An replied angrily with a shy and angry voice. The Navy's Type 6 is a breakthrough in the human body, based on strong physical fitness. By combining flexible techniques, one can unleash speed and strength beyond the human body. The Navy's Type 6 is divided into 6 categories through the use of different techniques. Shaving, moon step, lonjiao, finger gun, paper drawing, and iron block. On the deck, Kapp is explaining the 6 styles to An. Grandpa, what are the techniques for using the 6 styles? Ha ha ha, take it step by step. Today, let's learn about shaving first. Shaving is a method of moving at high speed by continuously stepping on the ground for a short period of time and using the generated reaction force. After speaking, Kapu made a demonstration by continuously stepping on the ground with both feet. Shoo! Kapp disappeared in place and appeared next to An. It's so fast, and was taken aback. Grandpa's shaving speed was much faster than Major Curry's. And didn't even notice Kapp's movement trajectory. Do you understand? An regained consciousness from his daze and replied back and forth, I understand. Now you come and give it a try. System, using cultivation acceleration cards. Ding. Successfully used. The host's cultivation speed is increased by 250%. Closing her eyes, An would remember Grandpa's techniques and shaving demonstrations. The feet began to quickly step on the ground, and a huge reaction force converged under their feet. Give a low, shave, phew. And disappeared in place and appeared in the position before Kapp. Grandpa, how are you? Ha ha ha, she is truly my granddaughter, much stronger than those so-called geniuses. But you also need to practice more so that you can use shaving more proficiently. Got it, Grandpa. An sighed inwardly that the 2.5 times cultivation acceleration is really terrifying. Let's continue learning about iron blocks. Iron blocks increase the high speed flow of blood. Thus, it enables muscles to contract and gain strong defensive capabilities. The cost is that it is almost impossible to move when using iron blocks. But Grandpa doesn't recommend using iron blocks. Why? Kapp scratched his head with a smile. Even if Kapp didn't explain the reason clearly, An knew why. In previous anime, many navies were confident in the mystery of the iron block. This is a self-defeating ability that many people, after learning it, believe they can resist all attacks. Although An doesn't know how to use iron blocks, he still needs to learn. With Kapp's careful guidance and 2.5 times the speed of cultivation throughout the morning, An quickly mastered all 6 naval moves. At the same time, Kapp also taught An the technique of returning life. Looking at An, who was diligently practicing the 6 styles on the deck, Kapp only felt that the future of the Navy was bright. In the afternoon. Under the scorching sun. And practiced the Navy's 6 styles over and over again. With the bonus of being bound by the hero's grandson. And quickly mastered various power techniques. Grandpa, I want to have a competition with Major Curry again. After a moment. The deck was filled with onlookers, including Sally and others who were rescued from the Iron Bull pirates. Sister, come on, Sally's soft voice rang out. Missin, come on. And turned to look at Sally and nodded with a smile. Colonel Curry, I hope you can give it your all this time and not show mercy. I want to see my true strength. I will do my best. The competition begins. As Bogart's words fell, and took the lead and started shaving. Shoo, and disappeared into place. So fast, Miss An is really amazing. She mastered shaving in just a few days. Of course, sister is impressive. Since An used the power of the Phoenix to destroy the Iron Bull pirates, Sally has regarded An as her own sister. Sister Tian called out, but An didn't refuse either. It's nice to have such a lovely sister. An instantly appeared behind Curry, striking with an iron fist. Cooley was also unwilling to be outdone and returned with his fists, as the collision of their fists sparked a strong fighting spirit. Finally, An took a half step back and ended the first confrontation. Miss An's strength has improved a lot, Cooley praised. Compared to the first competition, An is now a true warrior. Lan Jiao, a huge green wind blade flew towards An, who carefully watched the blade, trying to find a flaw in it. Found it, pointed to the gun, a strong attack hit the wind blade, and the wind blade instantly shattered. Wow, Miss An is so amazing. From today on, Miss An will be my idol. Sally pouted, of course my sister is amazing. Boga nodded, it seemed that An's 6 styles were well learned. It is truly a genius to discover the flaws in Kulalan's feet. Kapu laughed heartily and said, that's my granddaughter. The figures on the deck flickered, and then An Curry kept using shavers to search for opportunities. Lan Jiao's huge wind blade collided in the air. I don't know how long it has been. I found an opportunity, and when An used Lan's foot in neutral, Cooley quickly moved behind An. 6 types, chain finger guns. Finger guns and phantom shadows rushed towards An. Looking at the densely packed finger guns, An realized that paper painting could not escape and could only use its fruit ability. Why don't you ask why iron blocks are not used? Ankh has no confidence in the mystery. Curry's strength can reach level C, even if the iron block carries this blow. I will inevitably suffer huge damage myself, and it will be difficult to win. Just as everyone thought Colonel Curry was going to win, a surprised scene appeared in everyone's eyes. Curry's finger gun pierced through An's body, burning a crimson flame at the damaged area. Have you finally used your fruit ability? Curry quickly used shaving to stay away. Colonel Curry, my fruit name is Animal Demon Fruit, Phantom Beast Seed, Phoenix Fruit. Please give me more guidance, and suspended in the air and said slowly. Looking at An floating in the air, covered in crimson flames, like a goddess descending to earth, everyone let out a huge cry of surprise. How beautiful! Kapp looked at An in mid-air with a satisfied expression. Colonel Curry, my fruit is too destructive. Let's take one move to determine the winner. Cooley nodded, he had not forgotten the destructive power of the huge phoenix. I saw An waving his small hand and a large flame flying towards An's head, converging into a small sun. Divine bird's impact, a crisp sound sounded. The small sun seemed to hear some kind of command, releasing countless phoenix flames and diving towards Cooley. Iron block steel, in the eyes of everyone, the phoenix of fire collided with Curry. Countless phoenix flames flew out of the sun and charged towards Cooley. 1 breath. 5 breaths. 10 breaths. Curry's body kept retreating due to the impact of the phoenix's explosion. Similarly, An Chang replenished the flames for Little Sun for a long time, and a lot of sweat flowed from his body. He also stood on the deck from the air. After 20 breaths, and could no longer maintain the small sun and fell down sitting on the deck. You won over Major Curry, and gasped. And, it's not impossible to defeat Curry, at least the phoenix flame on Curry's body hasn't ignited yet. This is just a competition, detonating flames will cause huge damage to the ship and the onlookers, so An gave up on this idea. The winner of this competition is, and Bogart announced the results of the competition. While everyone was puzzled, Curry could no longer maintain the position of the iron block and hit the deck heavily. Originally, during the 5th round of the Phoenix fire impact, Curry had already lost consciousness. Relying on a tenacious will to survive, I reluctantly persevered until now. Accompanied by Cooley's fall, there was a loud cheer on the deck, and Miss An lived long live. However, in the eyes of Kapp and Bogart, a new naval star is slowly rising. Chapter 10. Munch D, Luffy. You are listening at Naval Full.Audio. Chapter 10. Munch D, Luffy in the training room. 1 fist, 2 fists, 3 fists. 998 fists, 999 fists, 1000 fists. Dang, a powerful fist hits the discus and emits a crisp echo. The girl lay on the floor of the training room, with red marks on her finger joints, telling the story of the hardships of training. I'm so tired. I don't know how my grandfather did it back then, destroying 8 mountains. Ha ha ha, Grandpa, I persisted with the belief of becoming a strong person. It is precisely because of this belief that Grandpa was called the Iron Fist Kapp by the pirates. Why did you come, Grandpa? We're almost at Windmill Village, and you're about to see your brother Luffy. Go and prepare. I finally arrived at Windmill Village. It's so sad to be floating on the sea. No matter how perfect the facilities on the ship are, humans are ultimately living beings on land. Got it, Grandpa. After rinsing, Kapu, Bogart, and 3 people are standing in front of the deck. Finally arrived at Windmill Village. I don't know how Luffy has been going during this time, Kapp thought. Looking into the distance. A calm small island appeared in everyone's sight. Giant windmills slowly turned against the wind. Under the windmill lies a vast field, where people are working hard. As the warships gradually approached, you can see beautiful houses along the intricate paths on the island. Looking along the path, you can see the undulating mountains. The villagers on the coast did not undergo any changes due to the arrival of the warship. They have long been accustomed to it. Bang dang. After a violent commotion, the warship slowly docked at the port of Windmill Village. Kapp allowed Bogart to move freely with the Navy soldiers. I walked with him towards the tavern in the center of the village. Along the way, people greeted Kapp and looked at him curiously. Kapu, you're back again. Ha ha ha, it's the village chief of Wupu. I can't help it, I'm too worried about Luffy. Who is this little girl? It's Luffy's sister. I brought her back this time and asked her to discipline Luffy for me. Hello, Grandpa Village Chief. UPU Village Chief nodded and walked past Kapu. Windmill Village Tavern. Luffy sat in front of the bar, wiping his glass and telling Magino the adventure stories that Shanks had told him. Although Magino had heard it many times, she still patiently listened to Luffy's words. Magino, I really want to go on an adventure with Shanks like Yuta. Luffy is still too small. Maybe when you get older, Shanks will let you board the ship. Listening to Magino's words, Luffy lowered his head and drank milk. Creak, the door of the tavern was pushed open by someone. 2 figures, one big and one small, walked in. Mr. Kapu. Grandpa, you're back, Luffy happily hugged Kapp's thigh. Actually, Luffy doesn't want to make such an exaggerated gesture. But the last time Grandpa came back, it was because he didn't show a happy mood. I was thrown into the deep mountains by my grandfather. Watching Luffy's flamboyant expression, An's lips twitched. This kid must not be sincere. Seeing that Luffy was not wearing a straw hat on his head, and felt puzzled. Has Luffy not seen his red hair yet? What An didn't know was that due to her arrival, Luffy met with Ace early. An is not clear about the plot of the Pirate King, so she doesn't pay much attention to it. But watching the scene of Grandpa's kindness and son's filial piety in the tavern. It will take 5 minutes. Luffy couldn't stand Grandpa's enthusiasm and changed the topic, saying, Grandpa, who is she? Listen carefully, Luffy. She's your sister, Munch D, An. Ah, do I have a sister? Stupid, we have it now. Kapp punched Luffy on the head. Luffy's head grew a string of large bags at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing this scene. And, I suspect that Luffy's brain may not function properly as he grows up, and it is highly likely that it was caused by Kapp. It hurts so much. Luffy hugged his head with both hands. And knows it's time for her performance. Step forward and clap Kapp's hand away. Speak loudly. Grandpa, if you hit Luffy like this, Luffy's head will become stupid. Upon hearing An's words, Kapp suddenly realized that Luffy's head was indeed not working well, and he scratched his head nervously. Seeing Grandpa take back his hand. The figure in Luffy's mind suddenly stood tall. After criticizing Kapu, An walked up to Luffy and handed him a small noodle bag that had already been prepared. This is a gift from my sister, do you like it or not? She said softly looking at the gift handed over by An. Luffy immediately burst into tears. Every time my grandfather comes back, he never brings him a gift, so he only beats him or throws him into the deep mountains, jungles, and abyss. Sorrow arises from the heart. Luffy hugged An's waist and started crying loudly. Sister, why didn't you come earlier? Listening to Luffy's words, Kapp's head was covered in black lines. Roar loudly, Luffy, Grandpa, that's for exercising you. Listening to Kapp's roar, Luffy tightened his grip on An's little hand. Ding! The host and the son of fate, Munch D, Luffy, have successfully formed a bond. Listening to the system prompt, An couldn't help but exclaim that it is indeed better for children to deal with. An lightly patted Luffy's back. Dark blue with dots ding. The host panel properties have changed, please check on your own. Binding system host. Munch D. An age. 11 years old. Character status. Normal tie point. 10 o'clock fruit. Phoenix fruit blazing sun flame plus, click to switch, power. D, plus, agility. D, plus, physical fitness. C, plus, will. E plus, evaluation. Rear Lieutenant Colonel of the Navy Headquarters, other items not yet open, tie-down lottery. 1 tie-down point / time ties. Daughters of the Sea, descendants of heroes fate Gemini effect. The Sea Woman has a unique talent, the favor of the sea, the son of fate. Note. The son of fate. The person who is watched by the will of the world is the son of fate. Effect. Understanding plus 100% of the binding effect displayed by the system. An looked at Luffy in his arms, truly deserving of being the protagonist. This bond is really strong. Intelligence plus 100%, which means that no matter what you learn, An can significantly save time. This is very important for achieving An's goal. Seemingly sensing Dawan's gaze, Luffy looked up at An. What's wrong with sister? Looking at the cute Luffy, An pinched Luffy's cheek and led him to sit at the bar. Grandpa and grandson sat by the bar, while Luffy ate small cakes one by one. At the same time, he stretched his ears to listen to his sister telling stories, and for a moment, the three of them were happy and harmonious. At this point, Magino made a suggestion. Mr. Kapp, let's have dinner together tonight. Could you please, Magino? Sister Magino, I'll go with you. And, you can also cook. Dictate Kapp's surprised tone. An's mouth twitched and he said, don't treat me like a useless person who doesn't know anything. Looking at the two people in front of the bar. After Magino and An left. In the tavern, Kapp and Luffy sat by the bar, staring big and small. Kapp wanted to change his image in Luffy's heart, so he asked Luffy to tell his story about what happened during this period. Watching Grandpa's curious expression, Luffy didn't hesitate and started talking incessantly. The kitchen Magino and An chatted while cooking, telling stories of sailing. Talking about the highlights. Luffy's screams came from the tavern, and the two of them quickly put down their ingredients and arrived at the tavern. Noticing the big bag on Luffy's head, he knew what had happened. After inquiring about the reason, An and Magino shook their heads. Luffy's head was really not working. I knew my grandfather was in the Navy, but I told him that I wanted to become a pirate. Isn't this a physical altercation? The two of them sighed and walked towards the kitchen. At night, the dining table in the tavern was filled with various foods, including 2 delicious dishes that were not seen by Luffy and Kapp. What is this? Kapp and Luffy asked at the same time. Mapo tofu, chili fish head. The One Piece world does not have chopped peppers, so it can only be replaced with salt and chili. Hey! It sounds like it's delicious. Kapu and Luffy are both carnivores, and they gave priority to eating a bite of chili fish head. The difference is that Kapp's food is so satisfying, while Luffy's spicy little face turns red. It wasn't until Magino brought the milk that it calmed down. Luffy eats this and points to Mapo tofu. Luffy scooped up a small spoon with a spoon and carefully put it into his mouth. Suddenly, a tingling and spicy taste filled his mouth. Luffy's face turned slightly red and he exclaimed that it was delicious. A dinner was spent amidst the sound of Kapp and Luffy eating. After dinner, the three of them bid farewell to Magino and returned to Kapp's home in Windmill Village. After washing up, the three of them fell into a deep sleep. Off topic. The author sets that Luffy did not eat rubber fruits when he saw Ace, in order to meet with Shanks later.